was this a moment where you thought, okay, maybe I cannot be, just only a good developer, but maybe something I can build?
There are a lot of coding platforms in the world right now. But everyone judges you on coding best practices.
Companies are saying this is the problem. But tell me one thing, what is the Cosmo Cloud doing it differently?
We are not into website development. We are not no code, make your own website.
But later on, this company got acquired by the another company. What is that story? And in the past, has there been some example where a software might be a very good, but it couldn't scale, and then they had to turn off the entire company?
Perfect thing to touch upon, because this is a question that everyone asks me. It's not your entire software arsenal. AI is your enabling factor.
What is the meaning of being AI ready developer in the new age?
People are thinking that, okay, I have AI. I am going to give it a prompt. It's going to give me a code output, and I'm just going to ship it out to production.
So what is the architecture I need to choose? Is it something like a microservice always, or can I go even within the ticket?
Vibe coding.
Okay.
Stay away from it as much as you can.
Welcome back to another episode of Techie Talks with Kuldeep. I am your host Kuldeep Singh. Today we are excited to have Mr. Shrey with us. Shrey is having a very interesting journey from developer to being a founder and then moving to a new role as the head of engineering with the another company. So without any further delay, let's hear more directly from him. Shrey, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Kuldeep. Welcome. I'm glad to be here, actually.
So, Shrey, before we start our discussion, could you share about yourself? How did you start with your journey as a developer? How did you become the founder and then merged it with the another big company?
Okay. So, bit of a long journey. I started as a software engineer, and I started from the health tech industry, innovator. And day one, my team says that, okay, this is the critical module that you have to take care of. And so that started my journey into software development.
Okay.
And from very early on, I was actually acting like an owner, kind of in a way. I was just building stuff. So there was no compromise on the quality of the tech that is going out, because it was in the healthcare domain. The module was very critical and so on, and that actually led me to one thing and another. So from there, I switched on to LinkedIn. Okay, in LinkedIn, I was part of the metadata search and discovery charter. So I was building data hub that was also open sourced by LinkedIn now. And when I was in LinkedIn, eventually I was thinking that about developer productivity in general. So, being a developer myself, using cloud, databases, backend, and so on, I was also always thinking about, how can you get things done quickly? And it was before AI, by the way. Yeah, the AI journey that is there. But how you can get more proactivized, that when you have repetitive work, not just in writing code, but doing everything from deployments to maintaining the cloud, infrastructure, all of those things can be automated or made easier. So that's where I started my journey of building Cosmo Cloud, my startup. And in that, which we built two products. One was the no-code backend as a service platform, and one is a auto DevOps platform.
Okay.
So Cosmo Cloud Build is the no-code part. Cosmo Cloud Deploy was the auto DevOps deployment part. So over that journey, when I was building Cosmo Cloud, a journey of a startup, scaling, building the team, going into a founder role and not just a developer role anymore. Eventually, we just got acquired by HROne. And now I'm part of HROne, and I'm the head of engineering over here. So apart from Cosmo Cloud, I also see multiple verticals here and the engineering in general as well.
Okay. So you raised a very valid point, right? So because it is not about only the writing code, but about the ownership and being into a very critical domain such as the healthcare. It even puts more ownership pressure on you. So was this a moment where you thought, okay, maybe I cannot be, just only a good developer, but maybe something I can build which can help, the others also, scaling the solution.
So it was one of the moment over there. So there have been multiple moments, but it actually led me to the actual moment where I thought that okay, let's be a founder. Is over my journey in any of the companies that I have worked with, I was more into a whatever I'm building, it's like my baby. So if it is not working, it is my ownership that I have to see it is working at every particular instant, right? So one of the critical challenges is in healthcare was that you cannot go wrong, no matter what. The systems can't go down, right? It's a critical healthcare. It is critical systems that are being built. People's lives are getting affected at that time, and so on. In LinkedIn, when I switched into, yes, a more stable company. I would say it's like a big giant or a big enterprise. But at the same time, it comes with a lot of another responsibility level, which is the scale, and there is no off hours. So it's a 24/7 social media running. And the team that I was in, it works with privacy, trust, and the overall platform of the LinkedIn, basically on the big data side, on the application platform side. So if that goes down, it has a huge impact on the overall architecture or on the the systems that are running over there. So that actually added a lot more responsibility, a lot more ownership to me. And then is where I thought that okay, if systems are so critical, why are people spending a lot of time just rewriting things again and again, just using the same frameworks, rebuilding things that are already there? And so what happened was, and share you a small journey over here.
Sure.
I was actually mentoring some engineers on LinkedIn again, where I was teaching them system design, system architecture, databases, and so on. And I was kind of building a side project, passion project over there, that like a coding platform. Because there are a lot of coding platforms in the world right now, but everyone judges you on coding best practices, but no one tests you on real life scenarios, real feature development. That comes as subjectivity into the problem statement, right? So where I was building a coding platform to solve the subjectivity part, I was in Bangalore at the time, and it was a time where it was partial shutdown of COVID. Everything was just opening up after second or third wave, if I remember. And at that time, one of my friends just asked me that okay, if you can actually judge a engineer and you can teach them how to build the platforms, why can't you build the platforms automatically using no code?
Okay.
So that was the actual moment where it turned that okay, if I can actually teach and do it objectively, why can't I actually build it using no code? So that led to Cosmo Cloud, and oh, it's a big industry. Oh, it's a big productivity boost for the people. And people can actually just think about business logic and implementation and forget the 80% menial work. It comes down to 10%. Okay, so that's
You are right. The companies are saying this is the problem. But tell me one thing: what is the Cosmo Cloud doing it differently? Which maybe like the bigger cloud provider, and there are like n number of other product as well as the platform, which also claims that we will simplify your deployment, we will simplify, the things for your developer or for your entire IT company. What are those specific things from your startup perspective?
So, see, these are a lot of different thought processes that we have to think about, right?
Okay.
Now, when we say that a lot of other companies are doing things, yes, everyone is doing a lot of things. Clouds, mega clouds, we are not competing with them. We are we are ourselves using those clouds.
So you are the consumer of those as well.
Obviously, we don't have our own cloud, but we are a automation layer on the three public clouds and on-prem clouds. So the user do not have to exit in they're using AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud or anything else. They don't have to exit out. It's a more of a management and orchestration layer.
Okay.
So when you talk about, let's start with the no code part. So when people think about no code, they always go about website development into the picture. We are not into website development. We are not no code, make your own website. We are no code backend as a service platform. That when you want to build APIs, when you want to build complex applications, you want features like, I'm building a social media, for example, and I want the field to be built. I want my caching to be there. I want to talk to queues and consumers. I want media upload, attachment uploads. So all of those things are bits and pieces of small components that you need to build a whole system altogether. And for this to do, you need a few engineers or different engineers to build different components, tie them all together, and then ship it out as a one single solution. So Cosmo Cloud, it was doing is you still have access to your database. You still write your own database queries. The binding of everything all together comes onto the Cosmo Cloud's headache, right? So it's that application layer that is getting no code. It's kind of like flowchart based way of creating your APIs. Where okay, I want an API to fetch me a list of data. So very, very simple, but I need to add some logic, some conditions, some calculations in it as well. So I can just build a flowchart, branch it out, add loops, click of a button, it gets deployed. Difference comes is a lot of current players in the no code industry. The comes is the technology challenge.
Okay.
So everyone uses good technology, right? It's the way you perceive that technology, right? So most of the workflows that you see are background workflows. You cannot think of building a real-time application using that workflows. So you can set emails, notifications, sync data, do things that can get completed within a few seconds. But when you want to build real-time systems, you need your APIs to respond back in 15 milliseconds or 100 milliseconds. That's the the difference that the engine is built different. So that is one use case. And if I talk about Cosmo Cloud deploy, yes, we have a lot of auto deploy platforms. We have a lot of CI/CD tools, DevOps tools, and so on. Now the idea comes, you still need a dedicated team, a very high skilled team to learn these tools.
Agree.
Right? If I talk about technologies like Kubernetes, or if I talk about service mesh, or if I talk about Terraform in general, right? These are some big technologies that good DevOps teams and automation teams will be using. But do you need to learn those complexities if you can get that done in just an easy way? That probably a product manager can come and roll out a release. Or just the engineers or developers who are running or building the application, they don't have to think about the nuances of the small things of Kubernetes, how to maintain Kubernetes. Clouds give that. And behind the scenes, we also use the same technology. We are not reinventing anything, right? It is just that orchestration magic black box that we have, which does all of those things to you. And you don't need a very high, very skilled, large team to manage your clusters, your cloud, and all of this.
So you are saying, yes, of course, you can go ahead and spin this things in the cloud, and it might be easy for a IT professional, right? But it might not be as easy for the person who is more focused around on the business, who just wanted to deploy his app and scale his app and get his things done.
Yes, so that is one thing. But Cosmo Cloud products are still to be used by engineers. So it's not business-oriented products, but it just makes life a lot easier.
Yeah. So maybe earlier you require like 5 engineers. Maybe with this, one engineer can handle all things.
Maybe one engineer can handle all.
Okay. Yes. So that's like the interesting thing, and also you have simplified this. But later on, this company got acquired by the another company. What is that story? And because I don't find even a link between these two companies together.
That's a good question that everyone has. That what is HROne doing acquiring Cosmo Cloud, right? So okay. So the answer to that is HROne is into HR tech space.
Yes.
People think about this as a HR only company, right? But people forget that HR tech has the word tech into it. And the tech word is actually building a platform for, we have a lakhs of users that are running HROne right now. And so the scale is probably huge. And when we have that scale in a tech company, we need the platforms to be ready and ready for the scale and the massive growth as well, right? At the same time, why not just look beyond HR tech as well, right? Cosmo Cloud and HROne comes together because we have also launched a new vertical, which is known as HROne Studio. You can just go ahead, you can check out the website as well. So it's kind of like a mixed matched product that we were planning while the acquisition was not there yet as well. But after the acquisition, we have launched this platform. It's a no code build your application platform. Now, when I say this no code build your application platform, again, I'm not talking about website builder, right? People think about process applications, like, for example, visitor management, for example, alumni portals, for example, there are factories and manufacturing units which have a lot of automation built into it, right? All those automations are processes, right? Processes, and a lot of data is going to and fro, and we need systems that scale, right? So this platform, HR1 Studio, you can build your own applications, or process-driven applications. You can add workflows, which are actually part of Cosmo Cloud altogether. So we have fused all the technologies together, and that helps you scale. So beyond HR tech is one vertical that we can venture into, and then HR tech itself needs that advanced capabilities like Cosmo Cloud's already based to it.
Okay. So you are saying like, the main purpose for which you build the Cosmo Cloud is still relevant, and even like after acquisition, I think it is now going to serve even like a bigger purpose because it is also helping the HR software in general also, but like build something new, for example the HR Studio, and which is powered by this technology. So your idea was scaled not only in one vertical, but now it is expanded across the others. And I'm sure you being an engineer, right? You are still excited about the technology. What are the latest thing, etc. coming? This is also something which you are able to handle because now you are handling across all those verticals.
Yes, perfectly. Yes, correct. So Cosmo Cloud still exists. We have customers at Cosmo Cloud. We're still scaling that. And HR1 again is a big giant. And HR1 Studio is a mixed match of both the technologies. So yeah, I mean, all three are going good.
So tell me one thing, right? Because if I just start building some product today, I can go to maybe like any GenAI platform. I can start with something website, etc. But how does this scaling of the system helps, right? Okay, why it is so much important, and how do you define it? Because in the past, has there been some example where a software was might be a very good, but it couldn't scale, and then they had to like turn off the entire company or so.
Perfect thing to touch upon, because this is a question that everyone asks me. That if we are building no-code platforms, if we are building auto DevOps platforms, if we are building platforms in general, right? What is the role of AI in that? And right now I can use AI, I can build an app, a website, a whole thing together, and even deploy it and everything, right? Then why do I use your platform? My question to you would be, who's handling the business logic of what the AI is generating, right? It's not your entire software arsenal. AI is your enabling factor, right? So we still use AI. A lot of AI is being used in HR1's products, in Studio products, in Cosmo Cloud products, and a lot of AI is being used to build these products as well, right? AI is not just 100% solution, right? If I build some website and I deploy it, what happens if there is a security bug? What happens if there is a scale that comes in and it's good for POCs, it's good for sample applications, demo applications, standalone websites, all of those things. But if you want to build a foolproof process-driven applications or I would say, productionized apps, right? AI is just a helper in building you that, but you need someone to apply their brains that whatever AI is doing, is it doing correctly or not? Am I going to lose money? Am I going to lose my traffic or my users? Am I going to have a lot of bugs, security issues? What if you integrated a payment gateway and it just charged you, 10x what that it's just a small tech bug, but you need eyes to validate it as well, right? So that's how AI comes into the picture.
Okay. So you are saying like, yes, building is important and maybe AI has speeded up that process, but you still need to deploy it and you still need to manage it. And where, the all the principle of the system architecture, the design comes into the picture, because those things, if you just lose the, like whatever good product you are in the end going to lose, the market share.
Oh, exactly, yes. AI is good, but again, like as you also mentioned, what happens when you're deploying on cloud and you have to maintain your networks, you have to maintain your load balancer, machines, and the whole thing, right? Again, AI will help you in doing all of that. AI will teach you all of that, and so on. But what if AI goes out? Then who are you dependent on, right? So you need a defined system, and AI can help you productivize, but you still need a defined system running your architecture. You can't say my business went down because AI did something wrong. And there are a lot of examples in the industry, right? So big companies going down because something happened with AI and it locked the system out and so on and so on.
So you are saying like, even though you can take the help from the AI, but in the end it is your responsibility around the code what it has written, and you need to validate it.
Yes.
Okay, so now talking about the future, right? Because and of course, like the AI wave is doesn't seems to be going down. There are like lots and lots of investment coming into this. So in this new age, and maybe you can compare it yourself when you started with as a developer journey, AI was not that much in general available. What is the meaning of being AI ready developer in the new age?
See, when I talk about AI ready developer, the thing that comes to mind is there are two types of developers in the market today, right? So one is the new generation freshers coming out, the
Who are just being passed out?
or early engineers, or having 2 to 3 years of experience. People are thinking that okay, I have AI, I am going to give it a prompt, it's going to give me a code output, and I'm just going to ship it out to production without thinking, without checking, because it's a very good AI. I have spent dollars into it, and the code is very beautiful. It has all the best practices into it. But what happens is even the test cases run. The test cases run, all the testing, unit testing, integration testing, everything passes. But at the end of the day, production breaks because it's not exactly what you wanted in the output, right? The business side of it. So when I talk about AI ready engineers, you should not be dependent on AI as your master. You should be the master and get AI to do the work for you. The day it becomes the master, you are losing your own creativeness, innovation, and so on. Because AI will answer in those terms which it has already seen. It can't think about new logics, new outcomes, what is going on in your head, how to solve the problem. It becomes a challenge of prompt engineering, how well you explain it to AI, right? But you are replaceable. I can hire someone else as well, and then that okay, other than you, I have a cheaper resource, and that cheaper resource can write the prompts altogether as well, right? But if I am an engineer who does all of this, plus I have that trust factor that if my systems goes down in production, I can go into that offline system because in production maybe the AI is not running. My servers are isolated. It's in a very tight secure zone, right? I can go there, debug it, understand why the system went wrong and fix it. That is the thing that people are losing right now. If I were before the AI wave, people used to debug a lot. Now, if you have a bug, or if something does not work, you just copy paste, put it to AI and say fix. So if you do that, you'll not learn why it is breaking or how to solve it, and which will eventually lead you to not being creative. So if you are just a developer building just a website, you are awesome AI engineer. But if you are building something that scales, something that gets a lot of traffic, and you need to understand how to optimize a lot of things, even how to optimize AI and building all of those things, you have to have your foundations right. So I used to have a saying that I used to say to my team and my everyone else as well, that जब तक फटेगा नहीं तब तक सीखोगे नहीं. तो हमारी ना सॉफ्टवेयर इंडस्ट्री में we have this term of things going down or bugs or crashes, तो हम उसको फट गया बोलते हैं. तो जब तक फटेगा नहीं तब तक आप सीखोगे नहीं, because when it goes down, when the crash happens, then is where you debug why it went wrong and how to solve it. But if you are depending on AI to do it, the next time I can just ask AI, please build, deploy, scale. What's your role in that?
So you are saying like being AI ready doesn't mean that you know which are the prompts to use and just maybe like copy paste them and just use it, but know where exactly you are using them and why exactly you are using them, and in case there will be any issue, so that it's not like you just build it in 1 hour, and that for troubleshooting you are spending like a 10 day.
Exactly my point. Yes. So if you can judge what the output is coming from AI and you can fix the output, then you're an awesome AI engineer, I would say.
No, and I think that's a good skill set also to maintain, because the troubleshooting, and as the systems also will become complex and lots of new code will be being generated. So the troubleshooting is the one of the key skill set which will differentiate, from one engineer.
Exactly.
And tell me, Shrey, one more thing is this something also you see more kind of, the curriculum, how, we have been grown up, how like, the maybe like, the patterns, etc., which we see in the college, etc., as well?
Yes, correct. So again, I'll talk about pre-COVID era and after COVID era, the AI era, I would say. Pre-COVID, what used to happen was a lot of people, still in if I talk about curriculum or colleges, a lot of theory goes into there.
Okay.
Right? We have labs, we have exercises, we have hands-on, but we don't have industry experience.
Okay.
People used to think a lot more about industry experiences, such as getting an internship, going for a hackathon, right? Or challenges, or probably things like this Google Summer of Code, or those kind of challenges, right? Where you actually get hands-on access or hands-on experience in learning things. People used to contribute to open source a lot. Now what people are doing, like, I would talk about this is, what people now focus on is, I need 5 more projects. Let me just go to AI, get the prompt, get the project done, push it to GitHub, and I'm done. People don't value the real life scenarios or the industry experience. And that is one thing I always wanted to change in the curriculum, because yes, internships are mandatory after, let's say, 3rd year or in 4th year or 6 months internship and so on. But that does not cut it. We need internships from early on, 1st year, 2nd year, and so on. Because if you are adding languages and teaching coding in 1st year, why not give them the industry experience in 1st year? And by the 4th year of your BTech or your courses, you will be ready for industry level experience. You should not get trained after you leave the college. Then what do you learn in college? Right? So that is one thing. And yes, again, the AI part, I would also strictly say that even if you are building an internship as well, focus on learning, because if you don't learn the first 2-3 years of your life and you don't have your foundations correct, you will keep learning for the next 15 years of your life. I would not say keep learning, I still learn right now. I would say you keep struggling for the next 10-15 years of your life.
So it's like while designing the system, if you don't design them well, you pay more for the technical debt at the later on. Yeah. And also like from this perspective, right? For example, if I'm just kind of now starting studying, I read the book, etc., and I just deliver something. Maybe due to the AI, this has also increased, as you said, right? Now I can just build maybe like a 5 projects, which are very easy to build, and I can say, hey, I built those 5 projects. But were those 5 projects were used somewhere? Say someone used it, and maybe when you go to a company and say, hey, this is how you deploy, and then the company says, what? Is this the process how we follow? These are like the 10 checks and balance which we do, and this is how do we scaling, this is how do we manage the security, etc., etc. And then you say, oh, okay, so this 5 project which I was just doing is just another the theoretical part.
Yes, exactly. You touched exact place that I'm telling you about. Let's talk about hiring process, right? I have been through so many interviews and I'm actually tired about this. When you have 5 projects on your CV or resume, and if you can't answer 5 questions about that, there's no point of doing those 5 projects. I can just write a script myself and I can write a prompt every single day of the year, build a project, push it to my GitHub. I'll have 365 projects in 1 year, right? There is no point of doing that if I'm not learning anything new out of that. If someone wants to join a company, people does not want to see what you have done. People needs to see why you have done that and how you have done that. Use AI. I still use AI. I use probably 70% of my time in AI right now. But when we talked about the upbringing, right? The first 2-3 years when I talk about, they are so critical that if you get those right, if you get your foundations right. I'll give you an example. My team comes to me right now, right? I don't spend a lot of time in coding right now. Again, I'm not at that role. I have teams. I have engineering teams, right? But my role right now is someone walks in and says, Shrey, this bug is happening, or this is the behavior that is happening on the platform, and I am not able to understand why it is happening. Now, I have not done the code. Yes, I have written Cosmo Cloud's code, the engine's code, and the underlying things and all. But after that, it has evolved, right? I don't know what code piece is working, where it is working, how the queues are working all together, how the different bits and pieces are working. But I know if this is the error that is coming, it is because of X reason. So now, because I've seen all of those things in my background or experience, that's where experience comes in, right? So when people talk about experience does not matter, experience is not number of years. Experience is what you have seen and how quickly you can fix it or build it or solve it, right? So if people there just come and say that, okay, this is breaking, I said, we just go and look at this particular aspect. You would do something wrong over here, and it turns out over there, right? So that's how you would do it. So coming back, 2-3 years is very mandatory, for your upbringing, and that's one thing that's very important.
And like, let's say now I'm or someone else who is just thinking about starting a company. Maybe he got an idea and he will, something etc. So now, just because you have lived through that journey, right? I will ask, a couple of questions. Maybe those are coming also in their mind, right? So, for example, yes, first I did have a business idea, and now I'm thinking, yes, I think it's scale it well as it. So, what is the architecture I need to choose? Is it something like a microservice always, or can I go even with a ticket hostage?
Okay, nice question. The answer would be don't think about the architecture.
Okay.
If you are building something very tech savvy for the tech world, probably a little bit of microservices. But if you are building something very easy, go for monolith, no questions asked. Again, don't think about the architecture on day one. Think about it after 6 months.
Okay. So you're saying like when you start scaling, when the user start using it, it automatically will tell you what exactly how you're assessing, and then you, if you know the designing etc., then you can check it.
Easier.
Okay.
Don't worry, Jimmy.
Yeah. And also from the hiring perspective, do I need to go with like the remote hiring, or should I hire in the team which is just sitting next to me while with ATC?
Again, it depends a lot, right? So if you know that productivity is more important and brainstorming is not more important, go for it. I would prefer not going rent, but yes, I am more productive in more. But my idea is for brainstorming, right? If I need to brainstorm, I need to be in a room with a whiteboard to think about how we can smell it. That is a very big challenge in remote. So it depends on the use case. No one answers again. Can keep a hybrid, option.
So you are saying maybe if your idea is validated and you know what to build, yeah, maybe that's where like leverage remote, because then you can get the productivity because you know exactly spiking with Nistila. But hey, if you are into very early stages and it is like a technical product where you still needs to define, is it even the right problem we are working, then the team literally can solve it better. All right. And from the technology's perspective, right? What is the one technology which is just currently hyped, which I should not be worried as a founder?
Vibe coding.
Okay.
Stay away from it as much as you can. So don't use when I say vibe coding, I actually mean vibe coding in it. So don't depend that okay, I go to a AI model, write some prompt, get the output, deploy it somewhere, and say then I have built my startup. Don't think about it. It's not a startup, it's a project. It might scale, it might not scale, you might get very lucky. But it's not a startup. Vibe coding is very up on that. Use AI, but think about what it is giving you back and then think if it is actually worth it.
And how about the funding for my idea? Is it something I should be like, just start going and pitching it everywhere, or maybe I should start building and start scaling it to few users and then ask for like more money to scale?
Then see, these are very subjective, but in short, it all depends. Because see, why would you need a funding is something you would need to answer first. If you can build very quickly, you have some friends, some team, some people to build your product, market your product, do the sales, all of that. So why would you need funding? But at the same time, if it's operational heavy, you have to pay salaries, you have to pay this and that, then you need money. And then you need to raise around asset. So it all depends, because one thing I want to talk about startups or building a startup is it's very easy to build a tech product. Okay. It's probably the easiest thing that you can do in building your startup is writing code.
Okay.
For me, at least for me. Okay. That's 2% of the solution. The 98% is how to build a company.
Okay.
And building a company is altogether a different story, I will say. You have to think about sales, marketing, think about numbers, think about your business, how it will scale. You can raise funding any day. If your idea is strong, if everything is there, money is there in the market, and you have a huge amount of money. But it's just smart money, right? People will not throw money at you. They validate your idea, and then like you can raise funding without building any product, but you can raise funding after going to 1 million users. But it's your thought process that matters.
So you are saying like, if you have the idea, go ahead and validate it. If you are confident, then ask for like more money. If you
When you need money, go for money. Because needing money is you are going to give your equity as well. And if you have a very good idea and you want to scale, equity matters. So don't give equity just for raising a money and we are doing a startup. But raise money when you actually know what you're going to do with that money. That you need to actually go 10x with that money. Or else if you're just spending funding and partying and clubbing and all of that, no point of being started.
Okay. So, I mean, you raised a very critical point, and I think you came also from, the well-established companies, right? And this is where then you thought of an idea and then scale it and then also, sold to a company, and now you are part of that, the bigger vision. What are some of the key learning which you would like to share with, the upcoming professionals, which will maybe they wanted to be a founder, or maybe they wanted to still remain as an expert engineer within this?
So advice to build a startup, that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So the advice would be don't focus on tech.
Okay.
No matter how good your tech is, don't focus on tech. It's the easiest thing to do. There'll always be a solution. There'll always be something that you can build and you can ship out. building a startup is not about tech. Even if you're building a tech, I was building a tech company. The answer is not tech. The answer is how you can build a team, how you can get things automate, how you can get your first customer, and then how you can convert that first customer into recurring number of customers every month or recurring revenue. So if you have that validation that yes, it's a good idea, it's not a one-off, one-time idea that needs to scale, but at the same time, it can generate revenue, and I don't have to bank on funding for the next 15 years. You have a startup in years.
And also, like, what are the some of the learning which you had? Because I think the reflection which you are doing, right, that might not be the same reflection when you were starting with your professional journey. So, what were the key differences which changed your thought process as well as you became a founder?
So you can say I'm half legal, half accountant, half finance person, half coffee boy. So again, so the learnings are this only. So when you go through a startup, imagine that 90% things will fail. They will fail. For the world, it might not look like. People will see you as a founder or someone they can look up to, or oh, this person is doing so good, he has his own company. But there will be so many days where you are struggling to find the solution to small things. Small things like where would the next salary come from? Right? It can this is one of the most common things. Touchwood, I'll actually do a touchwood because I did not think about this, God's grace. But at the same time, I had my own set of challenges. Set of challenges as in I have a very good tech product. How would I do sales? Right? Where early stage of my startup, right? There would I find my first customer. There would I scale. Now I have my first customer. How can I scale to 10 customers? Now I have 10 customers. How can I grow my recurring revenue? Now I have recurring revenue as well. I have my team as well. Two main core people use my team. How do I not build a dependency on them? How do I make an automation automatic engine? Right? So every day will be a new challenge. Every day you will be frustrated. You need a punching bag somewhere out there. So that is something that you'll always have to know. So get ready for.
So you are saying it is not only about building something, but also keep answering the question why it is for, who is it for, building like the team around it, and then when you build the team, then down to the scaling part because your product might be good and it starts scaling, then there are chances of the failure, then getting the customer, and as you said, right, custom
90% things will pay. 90% is. It's just that your motivation, how to fix it, and then move ahead. 2 years down the line, it'll again break. When you fix it, you have to move on.
So you are saying like a engineer with the business mindset, if you do have it and the courage to take on the challenges, etc., then take this path. Else, you can be a good software developer as well, and that's also the best.
It's both sides are good. It's not that this is good, this is bad. You just need to be a problem solver. Either you're an expert developer or an architect or a lead developer, or you are a founder. You just have to solve problems. If you're not solving problems, you are replacing.
Anything else which you would like to share before we wrap up?
Well, yeah, just this much only. So I candidly shared all my views and thoughts. So I'm not against AI. I am also an AI burst. Just want to share that. But it's just that people are too dependent on it, right? So that's something even like when we are hiring and we're still hiring, we keep on hiring. But when we see thousands of applicants and the actual is that okay, only 10 are worth hiring, that's a very big heartbreak. All that effort into getting interviews, tasks, assignments, or whatever, right? And if people can't solve the basic problems, you are not probably a engineer, then you are probably just a IT guy.
And I think it is even a bigger problem for the startup because for them, even if it is like one day call wasted, there's like some money which was spent, which they beat it somewhere.
You don't have to think about money, you have to think about time as well, right? Time is money. So right now as well, if I take interviews, I can't take 10,000 interviews. Right? You have to take 2 rounds, 3 rounds. Assignments, tasks are there to filter out your systems and so on. But even if you take 50 or 100 interviews, My engineers are taking the introduce. They are spending their time. You can get features built or taken. So we have to practice. And then if we are good output on that, that's a good deal.
No, thanks, Trey. I think it was wonderful to host you, and thanks for being so candid about your journey and the journey. I think you have enjoyed, right? So it is not about hey, you were just only enjoying when you were a coder. You enjoyed that part. Then you became the founder. That part also you enjoyed, solved the business problem, etc., and scaled it well. And when you got the opportunity of the acquisition, I think that's where also you did good because now your idea has scaled well, and also like you are handling more verticals where you can even use your the system engineering challenges which you used to love.
Thank you so much, Kuldeep. It was great coming on this show with you. So, thank you.
That's it for this episode of Techie Talks with Kuldeep. Until next time, keep learning and keep innovating. Thank you for watching.